Hey y'all, and welcome to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how I make my Chebe hair butter. I'll be starting off with the following ingredients: cocoa butter, shea butter, mango butter, jojoba oil, Jamaican black castor oil, almond oil, 2 ramekins, some gloves, scale, strainer, as well as a piping bag and a mixing bowl. Okay, so now that I have all the ingredients sorted out, I'll be making my Chebe infused oil and starting off with a tablespoon of Chebe powder. This Chebe powder is from Sahel Cosmetics and it's on Amazon. They have a couple of different sizes available, and if you want to check it out, I have the link in my description below. And shout out to Yaya DIY Creations. She actually offered the idea of making a Chebe infused oil to put in the hair butter, and I thought her recipe for this was just awesome. So this is definitely inspired by her. Okay, so in a second ramekin, I'm going to be adding my oils. So first I'm starting off with almond oil. Almond oil is great for increasing shine, softening the hair, as well as improving scalp blood flow, promoting hair growth, and strengthening and repairing the hair. Next, I'm using jojoba oil, which is a great antioxidant that helps fight bacteria and fungal infections, as well as nourishes the hair, helps minimize breakage, promotes hair growth, and regulates natural oil production to retain moisture and good health. The measurements also for this recipe will all be below, so please check out the description for more. Next, I'm using black castor oil, which is great for thickening and strengthening the hair. I'm only using about a tablespoon of this, as it is very thick and could end up being quite oily if I go overboard. So I'm just kind of keeping at a minimum there. Next, I'm putting all of these ingredients over the stove, the Chebe butter as well as the oil, and then just mixing that on low heat, very, very low heat. Really just want it to get infused. Only it takes about 4 to 5 minutes to do so on low heat. You don't want to lose out on the nutrients by cooking it, so be very, very careful with that. Once you see that it's kind of thickened and that the oil has changed colors and it seems to be kind of, all mixed together really well, then you're going to strain out the mixture, and you'll see towards the bottom that it has infused the Chebe oil or powder since it is a much darker and richer color now. Next, I'm going to be moving on to my butters, and I'm first starting off with the shea butter. And again, the measurements for this recipe will be below. Since this was my first time doing a DIY on this specific hair butter, I tried to use as many butters as I could, but I think I could have added a lot more butter. So that was one mistake that I did make, because this could have been a much thicker consistency type of hair butter, but I'm not too mad at it, and I feel like I said butter like a million times, so gosh, I need to find like another word now. And next I'm going in with mango butter, and I said I wouldn't say butter, but here we are. And mango butter is quite dense, but not as dense as it seems. The cocoa butter is actually more dense. This is a pretty soft butter, but the shea butter is very, very soft and creamy, and I kind of wish I used like a spoon for that, because it ended up melting on my hands a little bit. Then I used cocoa butter. Cocoa butter is super, super awesome. It made it smell very, very good because the Chebe butter had quite an earthy scent to it. And really, it's up to you as to what butters you want to use for your hair. I just use things that I like personally, but this is all, preference, as well as the oils, of course. This whole recipe is, but I'm just showing you how I use these ingredients, what I use, how much of these ingredients that I use, and how it worked out for me. So hopefully it works out for you as well. Next, I'm just putting this over a little bit of boiling water to get it to melt just halfway. And I forgot to mention earlier that I actually put the oil for the Chebe oil infusion into the freezer for a little bit so it could slightly solidify. Next, I'm mixing that in with the butters and just getting that to be a smooth, creamy, thick consistency. And this took forever, guys, like a really, really long time. This took about 45 minutes to an hour, like no lie. I just had to sit back and every 15 minutes or so, I'd go back over to the mixer, and then I just scrape down the sides and then ensure that nothing's sticking to the bottom or anything. I tried to get the clumps out the best of my capability. I think it's because I put the mixing bowl in the freezer completely by itself and not just, you know, the oil. That kind of caused it to be a little clumpier because the mixing bowl was quite cold. So that could mess up the texture. So I next time would probably put that in a separate bowl and then add that back into the mixing bowl. But, you know, this is just first time and experimentation, and we're just going to see how this goes. And as you can see, it changes color to like a paler kind of green consistency, still looking very earthy. It's kind of like a green brown. It's not the most pleasant color. And I mean, this is a hair butter, guys. I don't expect it to be like a super pretty thing, but I do want it to smell decent. But luckily the cocoa butter made it smell pretty good. It had majority cocoa butter scent to it, but I did want to tone it down just a little bit with the earthy scents. So I added some vanilla essential oil later on. With the essential oil, I ended up adding about 10 drops of vanilla, and it smelled pretty decent. So I was happy with the result. And then I just mixed it up again and was getting ready to pipe. As you can see, it's pretty thick, and I was happy with the consistency of everything. So I just piped it out using a press and seal to make less of a mess. Roll that up like it's cookie dough, and then I'd add that into the piping bag and then pipe it into my container. Another quick shout out to Missouri River Soap, their YouTube, for introducing me to the idea to the press and seal, which is an excellent idea and definitely helps to minimize mess. Forgot to mention I have this star tip, so hopefully it turns out to look pretty cool.